And I have to say, another thing that makes me laugh on the internet is opening Reddit and seeing post after post after post. Is GPT down for anyone else? Help, I can't get GPT to work. Is it just me? And like, I know when the internet goes down, society goes down. I know when the power goes out, people struggle. But the fact that there is a visceral reaction to not being able to use GPT, a measurable reaction online by people losing a part of their daily function, that's a little concerning. That so many people have integrated this AI into their workflow that they like can't even take a deep breath and just assume, oh well, it's down. I guess I can't use it right now. No, they go to denial, like the stages of grief. First, I don't even know what they are. But, there's anger, there's denial. Like I don't know why I'm so concerned, but I feel like it is concerning that anyone would rely on an AI already. I just said that it's amazing that we have any of this in 2023, but to have already become used to it in 2023, where if you don't have it, you are desperately asking if you're the only one because God forbid you were the only one. How can you get through the workday? What will your boss think of your productivity? You've been so helpful. Anything the boss needed, you could have it within 20 minutes. And now the boss asks you a question, something he's asked you plenty of times. Hey, can I get a copy written for this article? Can I get some headlines generated for next week's content? And you're just looking at him like, no, you can't. Because you've offloaded that task onto someone else, onto your assistant. And your assistant didn't show up today. Your boss definitely isn't paying you to give your work to someone else. And I think GPT is a tool, but it's way closer to a human than a hammer is. A hammer's a tool, a calculator's a tool, GPT is a tool. But GPT is on the border of useful, helpful tool and person. And I think a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable. Like, if your job was to hit some nails with a hammer and you didn't have the hammer that day or your hammer broke, I think everyone would be a little understanding. Like, oh, well, of course you can't now. You needed the hammer. But if you can't do something because GPT is down, I honestly don't see a single person being understanding of that, having an understanding of that, and being compassionate or having any sympathy for you because, oh, the language model isn't working. People would be like, so what? Do it yourself. And I know I notice this in myself when, it comes to directions and like maps and driving somewhere. I have fully offloaded that part of my brain to GPS. And I've had friends mention that, like, oh, they don't use GPS because they don't want to rely on it. And I get that totally. But at the same time, GPS exists. It's here, it's real. You can use it, 99.9% of the time. I feel like not offloading that task is somehow a detriment to your potential. Like, it's no longer something your brain needs to do. And you could argue whether that's a good thing or not. Your brain is definitely capable of remembering directions and having spatial awareness of where you are and where you need to be, but it no longer needs to do that. And I know for sure, I no longer have, like, I can remember if I had driven somewhere once, maybe twice, I could get there no problem. You just had to have done it. And now I'm not really good with that. I don't internalize my route as much as I used to because if I ever needed to get back there, I would just bring it up on the GPS. I get a little worried about that when I use GPT for something, for sure, but I'm way more worried about everyone else. Like, how many jobs are now not only being done by the AI, but how many jobs and how many people are now willingly losing that part of their brain because they see that they don't have to keep it anymore. And I think that's a really big problem because if you're using GPT for your job, why couldn't someone else use GPT for your job? Like, what do you matter anymore? What do you matter? If you're not even doing the job, you're just figuring out a way for it to get done. Isn't that like the essence of being replaced? It definitely makes me a little concerned.